What is up, everybody? It's Talkin Brash, episode 26, I believe, or something like that. Um, we've been strolling right along here with these episodes, man. It's fucking stoked to have everyone here. Richard Dicko North, what's up? Um, so I've been working on releases. I've released my shit on Spotify. I think you guys will finally see that. They're fixing the mapping. I know everyone's told me that the artist page is wrong. It's like some other Loki guy that's like has like trance hits. He's written a lot of trance songs, and I wish I wrote those trance songs. What up, Curtis Grant? What's up, Nicole? Damn, Nicole, what's up? I haven't fucking seen from you in a minute. Anyway, so yeah, they're remapping like my artist page, and I'll take over that and start getting on playlists and shit like that. But it's been good. What's up, Chris? It's been good to finally get my fucking home recordings up on Spotify. It's weird. Like I did this, I mapped shit out on Superior Drummer, and like I never ever thought that I would put those songs on Spotify, but there they are. It's super fucking weird. But yeah, I'm stoked that that's up there. It's on iTunes. It's pretty much everywhere you get fucking music. So go check that out. It's called the Demonize EP. So yeah, I've been busy doing work for that. We are gonna release that Nim Vint tune. He's gonna do that on his channel, and that'll be a single. It's me, Nim Vint, Tracy Bird collaborating on a fucking Nim Vint song. It's pretty fucking awesome. It came out great. It's probably the best sounding thing that's come out of my house. So I'm stoked about that. That'll be out soon. On Patreon, I did release the Tracy Bird only version of that. So if you are a subscriber to Patreon, you get that special version of the song. What's up, Corey James Payton? Austin. So yeah, I've been busy doing a whole bunch of shit behind the scenes. What else is going on? What else is worthy of telling you guys? Oh yeah. I'm building a tour in Europe for 2021. So I'll have news on that, on who that's with pretty soon, but that's already it's already in motion. The wheels are churning. Fucking my agent's already working on getting that fucking going. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I just can't tell you who it's with or what it is. There's your teaser for that. So, what else is happening? Nothing much, man. It's Halloween. There will be, you know what? I did want to mention there will be a schedule change in November. I've been going 3 days a week, and I guess I didn't really think about what I was doing. I just fucking started doing stuff. But 3 days a week is a lot. Like, to get different guests on 3 days a week is fucking tough, man. It's a lot harder than I thought. And like, it's not that I'm running out of people, but like maybe I should spread it out a little bit more, right? And like I've been doing 2 hours of content every time I fucking come on here. So plus I want to start doing different types of content. I don't want it just to be like this Joe Rogan talk show. It's cool. I fucking like it. I get to talk to my friends and stuff, but like I want to do other things also. So I'm going to limit that to 2 times a week. The new schedule starting in November will be Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday will be the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, but Saturday is going to be a matinee show, 3 p.m. Eastern. This way I can get like some of my European friends on the show, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of cool people that I met out there that have a lot of cool things to say, cool stories, and to push their own projects too. I have a lot of really talented friends out there. So starting in November, Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. What else? That's it. I have a merch store. It's on the website, LokiGuitarOfficial.com. Hit that up. You'll see everything up there. YouTube, Patreon, the fucking whole shebang. So, yeah, hit that up. And I appreciate you guys, man. You guys have been fucking supporting me through and through. And I fucking dig it, dude. Thank you very much. So now, I'm not sure how many of you guys know this dude, but I've known him for a little while now. It's back in the Doomsday days. I think he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but he was in a band called Shadows of Dawn back then. and super fucking great guitar player, dude. Like, blows me out of the fucking water. And yeah, that's saying something. He also, when my gear got stolen, we did like a doomsday reunion. He let me borrow his gear because I was like worried about what I was going to use, and he was fucking kind enough to do it. But he's worked with Angel Vivaldi, Nita Strauss, he's in Etherius, and he's done just, if you go on his Instagram channel, he's just there shredding, fucking learning classical fucking tunes. So I'm stoked to have him on. It's my friend Jay Tarantino. Jay, I'll have you on mute right now. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, man? Yeah,
what's
you have
going
a good
on?
memory. Yeah, man. Shadows of Dawn.
Yeah.
The old fucking dingbats back like 8-10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me fix my screen here. Fucking does this every once in a while. I hate it. This is what happens when you use your cell phone as your fucking camera. Things go wrong. But it's all right. So what's going on lately, dude? I mean, I know the world's come to a halt as far as the music industry goes. I get that, but like, how have you been keeping your time? I see you fucking posting videos all the fucking time. So tell me what's going on now.
Like I've been teaching, trying to get more students. So like I'm just posting videos all the time and trying to spread the word about Etherius. We were supposed to like everybody else. I mean, we were supposed to tour this year, and that all went out the window. So just find other creative ways to stay busy and stay relevant. And not that I have like a huge audience, but the people that know me, like they're dedicated. They're really into what I do. So just trying to grow that, more and just keep getting better as a musician. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time to fucking just sit down and fall in love with your instrument again. Fucking, the last 4 or 5 years have been just road heavy for me.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, you're playing every day and you're, physically you're getting better at guitar, but like, you're just kind of playing the shit you're supposed to be playing, right?
Dude, I feel you, man. Like, I know for me, it's like, because I love to practice. I'm still working a day job, but like when I come home, I'm working on videos, I'm practicing. I'm learning pieces, I'm writing. I mean, Etherius just put out an album in April, but I've already started working on ideas for the next album. But on tour, it's a totally different thing. It's like, especially, like, I mean, you've been all across the country a million times. I've been all across the country a million times. You kind of know, you've been to like the same city 6 or 7 times. You know what to expect. There's nothing new there. But like going to Europe for the first time, that was like super fucking cool, and it's one of those things where you just want to go out and explore and just see other things outside of America.
Yeah.
And, for me, like touring is just, I don't play guitar on tour. It's just I warm up before the gig, do the gig, and then after the gig, it's like, all right, well, I'm my own tech, so I'm helping break down all the gear, and I'm loading out, and so it's not as regimented as like when I'm home and I'm practicing, a couple hours every day and trying to work on new music,
Yeah, it's that, and like you're in that band, so you're just you're constantly getting your show right, like.
Yeah.
So you're just your main focus is that show, but you get home and like you can start to play your guitar and just do things that you wouldn't normally do, and even learn songs that you maybe wanted to learn. It's just like you get to love the guitar again instead of just playing it.
Dude, yeah, even like and I know if like for me, I don't know how it is for you. When I come off a tour, dude, like I don't want to play for like a week or two. Like the guitar can just sit in the case. I just I don't want anything to do with music. I just want to just reassimilate back into civilian life.
Right. I almost don't want to do anything with anything. Like I don't get my clothes out of the luggage till like at least 2 weeks after I've been home. And then I start thinking, well, I'm leaving again in another 2 months. Should I even take it out at all?
Yeah.
No, I got to do this.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you tour way more than I do. I mean, just especially like when you were playing with Michael. I mean, you guys were like the ultimate road dogs. It
was fucking intense. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Fucking, I wouldn't trade anything that we did for the fucking world, dude. It was
man, because it's so one sick. Of those, like for me, I can't wait to do it again. It's like, like I'm a person with like some people can't handle touring. I've been around people who can't handle touring, especially like when you're touring in a van with 3 other people. It's a little bit easier when you have a bandwagon or a bus. But even still, like some people just can't handle it. It's just not in their DNA. Like me, dude, like send me on tour for 6 months
Yep.
and I'll be fine. Like I will sleep anywhere. I'll sleep under a table. I'll sleep on the floor. I don't give a shit. Like I'll make it work.
Yeah. I've been like that from the start too, man. Like I'm a fucking lifer. And yeah, I can deal with any situation. Cuz I love it. I truly fucking love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some people, and you could tell right away it doesn't take long when like this guy's just not gonna make it.
Yeah. Some people just he's at home and it's just hard to kind of transfer that to the road. It's just a totally different animal for sure.
Right.
You don't always get to eat the good food that you want. Like it's just
right.
Yeah, it's just you got to adapt. Some people can't, and it's not a knock on that person. It's just the way it is. Some people just have the personality for it.
Yeah, it's a lot tougher than people think. Like, yeah, actually, this is not something I've touched upon really with anyone, but like, there's a perception of what tour is versus a reality of what tour is, and forget the party animal aspect of it, but even just traveling, they think like, yes, we are seeing certain parts of the world, but like we're not tourists. We're not going out there as tourists. Like, you know, depending on when you get to the venue is pretty much load-in time right the fuck away. Depending where your slot is, I've been lucky enough to be a headliner out there, so I've had some time to walk around. But even then, depending on what I did the night before, I just may want to chill the fuck out once I get there. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you, man. Like especially like first time going to Europe a couple of years ago, and we get to the venue like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, load in. It's like, all right, you got like an hour or two before sound check. So you walk around a little bit, you do the sound check, then you got like an hour, maybe 2 to 3 hours max before you got to go on. So all right, you get to walk around maybe a little bit more, grab something to eat. So it's not enough time to really do all the exploring. Sometimes we'd have a day off. Like we toured Europe in 2017. We had a gig get canceled, so we're like, all right, fuck it, let's just drive to the next city, which happened to be Prague. So we ended up having
a great city to just
Dude,
have
Prague,
a day off
in, bro. Oh my god, man! I have stories. Like we had 3 days off in Prague, so it was fucking awesome, man. For 3 days, I just walked around and just explored the city, man. I must have walked like 15 miles one day, just going to the park. They have the castle downtown, just all kinds of shit, man. It was awesome. It was just a lot of fun. Yeah. And then there's some gigs where you show up late just for whatever reason, because you just you show up late and it's like, all right, get there, load in right away. All right, you go eat, come back, and then play the gig, and you don't really have time to do anything.
Sometimes like they'll have like techno night right after the show, so you got to get your shit off the stage right away. But yeah, the only time that I do get to see the city is like, because I'm a night owl, so like I kind of make it a point. The way we would operate is that we wouldn't do overnight drives. We would just like crash at an Asda or wherever the fuck, like some truck, some form of truck stop.
Right.
So we would stay in that city, and then I would fucking do all my exploring at nighttime with either people I met at the show or friends that I already had, and like go bar hopping or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So that's my time out was at night, driving, going on scooters, fucking hammered. Those electronic scooters.
Yeah. Walking around.
Used to be our thing.
Walking around Prague at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Just looking around in the history there, like you start thinking about the history of America, like that ain't shit. You start seeing how like old buildings are there and the history. Yeah. Even walking into pubs, in Dublin, I walked into a pub that was like a lot older than America, like a lot older than America.
Yeah, that's like a trip, man. It's such a trip. Yeah, Dublin was one of my favorite cities. Actually, we played, I don't remember the venue we played, but it was right across the street from the Guinness factory. Or not right across the street, but it was like it was like a couple blocks away. And I mean, I got to explore the city a little bit. I went to the Phil Lynott statue and just took my picture with Phil Lynott. That was what I wanted to do. That was my thing.
Why would play the same venue? Because yeah, it was just a few
Probably.
blocks away, but also
Yeah.
like right there on on the river was the Brazen Head pub, and
Right.
that's the pub I'm talking about. It was built in
Yeah.
like
Okay. Yeah.
1052 or some shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of that shit in Europe, but like it's a lot of driving, especially if you have like you're just in your bunk the whole time, right? If you have bunks, it's like this moving coffin. You never know what's happening on the outside of it.
Well, the
You
cool
just
thing.
hear like horns honking, like.
Yeah. The cool thing I like about the buses over there is like we had a double decker, so all the bunks were on the top floor, and then you had the lounge on the bottom floor. So that was cool.
Right
So it was
on.
like whoever wanted to go to sleep can go to sleep without everybody making noise and keeping people up. If you wanted to stay up, you could just sit downstairs and hang out, have a drink. So that was cool. And yeah, I mean, just it's cool to just see other cultures, and the shows were awesome too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's first time going to Europe. It's not the you don't have the best crowds at some of the some gigs. You have a fucking handful of people, and then some gigs like we played in Spain. Those shows were nuts. Poland, man, fucking crazy people out there, man. They were
Poland
into it.
they know how to rock, dude.
Yeah, man, they know for sure. Yeah.
They had great times in Poland, and like, dude, I lost my phone in Poland one time. I got fucking super wrecked, and some dude found it at the train station somewhere in Poland. I forget which city. And he was nice enough to mail it to me in Germany. He mailed it to Germany. I actually got my phone back.
Shit, man.
I'm like, if this was New York City, I would never see this phone again.
No, never again. Yeah. Dude, we're talking about Prague and getting wrecked, man. One night, so this tour, it was with Angel Vivaldi. Andy James was on this tour, and we were touring with a band called Defiant Constant, which is Sarah Longfield. So anybody who doesn't know who Sarah Longfield is, she's like this fucking amazing guitar player, instrumental. So anybody who's familiar with like the whole instrumental guitar genre, you probably know who Sarah is. But anyway, so like I said, we had a couple of days off in Prague, so we went to this club, and I don't club like,
right.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck it, dude. Like we're in Europe, I'm with my friends, we're having a good time. Like I don't care, I'm just gonna go have a good time.
It's
So we went.
amazing. It's amazing how fast we turned into club goers over there.
What was amazing too is like this club, like one floor was all like the fist bumping, house music, and then like there's like another floor where it's like all classic rock, and there's another floor was like disco and like 80s
Right.
pop. So it was like a different genre on each floor. It was really interesting. But so we were there, obviously Angel, our merch guy Jay, he was there. And I feel like there's like one or two other people, and Jay got fucking hammered. Like actually we were all pretty drunk, but
Right.
just at one point at the end of the night, Jay's tall, he's like 6'2", 6'3", and Angel and I carry him out of this club because he cannot walk down the steps. He's fucking bombed. So
Damn.
we go outside. It's like 4:00 in the morning, and the street is fucking packed. Like there's just people everywhere. So we're like, all right, we were staying at a hostel, so it was like a mile away. So we're like trying to get an Uber. Uber
Right.
was a thing out there, not everywhere, but in certain places, you could get an Uber. So Angel didn't have any money, so he's trying to find an ATM to get some money. So I'm there with Jay. I'm holding him up because he's fucking trash and he can't stand up on his own. So this fucking prostitute comes up to me and is like getting in my face, like, and I'm like trying to hold Jay up, and I got this girl just like won't leave me alone, and like I like shove this girl. So she backs up, she comes back again, and is like getting in my face, like not like just no personal space whatsoever. So I push her again, meanwhile holding my friend up. So then she comes back one more time, and I just like threw her. So she goes away. I'm still holding up, Jay. Angel comes back, gets the money. He's got money. So then we're trying to get a cab back to our hostel. None of the drivers will take us. They see our friend here and they think he's gonna get sick. We're like, dude, we're like a mile away. He's fine. Just get us there. We'll be fine. So finally, like a half hour later or something, we finally get a cab, and he charges like 3 times what the normal rate would be, because he sees we're a bunch of stupid Americans.
Yep.
At that point, we're just like, who gives a fuck? Like, fuck it.
Yeah,
like,
we made
just
it.
got to get back home.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of the victorious part of the night. Like, we made it back to the bus.
We made it back. We made it back. Nobody got hurt, and nobody threw up. And Jay didn't remember any of it.
Right. It's brutal when you don't remember any of it.
No, man.
You know. Fucking. So let's get into the beginning of like how you got into where we are now, man. Like, so are you Jersey fucking through and through, or
Dude, I
you coming
was
from somewhere else?
Yeah, man. Nah, man. I was born here. Lived in Perth Amboy. Grew up in Perth Amboy. Lived in South Jersey for a little bit. Now I live in Saraville. I live up the street from Starling Ballroom, so
Right on.
I could go there whenever. Well, not this year, but
Were you going to what the fuck was the other place called? God damn, it's been so long now. I forgot what it was called.
Hill.
The Birch Hill.
Birch Hill, yeah, man.
Many a shows at the Birch Hill.
Oh man, I saw Anthrax.
So many
I
shows.
never got to play there. I saw Anthrax, Fear Factory, Overkill. I got punched in the face a couple times, man. Good times.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like a lot of the venues when I was a kid and were going to concerts like that. Like I always wanted to play a lot of these venues, and now they're not even fucking there.
Dude,
Birch Hill's one of them, you know.
It was Birch Hill, Chrome. I don't know if you remember
Club
Chrome.
Yep.
It was Club Benet. It changed names a couple times, but that was the place. I remember seeing like Lamb of God and Shadows Fall, God Forbid played there. It's like almost 20 years ago, And then somebody got shot and they closed it down.
Really? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen so many things like down there in Chrome, Trade Winds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then like Birch Hill, they had like the venue next door where they had all the raves and stuff. Oh, what the hell? I can't remember the name of it. It was Stingrays. That was the name of it. And they would always get their liquor license taken away, and then it would get revoked. They would get it back. They would get revoked again. Then they would get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now it's just it's a community. It's an adult community. It's just houses and shit everywhere, man. It's sad. I shed a little tear every time I drive by there.
Seen so many metal shows here. Machine Head with fucking Nothing Face.
Yeah, man.
Like and all those Jersey bands too, like E-Town Concrete, 40 Below Summer, God Forbid. Like
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing Voivod there when Newstead was playing bass for them.
Right on, yeah.
Voivod, Fear Factory. I think Slipknot might have played there at one point. Before they like really blew up. Like I said,
I saw Linkin Park at the Birch Hill before they blew up. It was like 30 people there. It was like not a lot of people there, and then and then out of nowhere, like then they were Linkin Park.
Yeah. Fucking Soulfly. I saw Superjoy Ritual. Yeah, I mean I could go on like the amount of shows. I saw
and
there.
like, but it was an iconic place. At least for me, it was like I want to fucking play here, and then like gone. It
was like the way New Yorkers talk about L'Amour.
Yeah.
L'Amour is kind of like over the years is like the legend has kind of grown. It's people tell stories about seeing Metallica.
I did get to play L'Amour, by the way. I got
to
play L'Amour in 2003.
I played there. I played the Staten Island location. 2004, because I think it closed shortly after that for good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
So yeah, I was pretty stoked that we played in 2003. It was actually like, so they had two rooms, right? So they were alternating the stages that night, and like it was like when Lacuna Coil was in the other room, and then we were in the one room. It was really weird, yeah.
But yeah, man, that was Birch Hill. It was like our version of L'Amour in a way, yeah.
And is the Roseland still there, or is that gone?
Roseland
in the city.
I think they closed. I think Roseland closed down. I think Hammerstein might still be there. I don't remember. I don't know. One of the two I think was closed down, but I can't remember which one.
Well, that was another one growing up that I just always wanted to fucking play. Now it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
You have these goals, right? These markers. Like if I do this, and like.
Dude, that was like I remember.
I feel good about myself.
When Starland Ballroom opened up, it was like, yeah, man, I want to play Starland Ballroom, and then. So Shadows of Dawn got to play there a couple times. We actually opened for the Misfits, funny enough,
right on.
8 or 9 years ago. And but then you see like the bullshit you got to go through. It's like you got to sell 100 tickets. You get like $2 a ticket, and you just see the payoff in the end. You do all this promotion, and you just kind of at the end you're just like, I'm never fucking doing that again.
Yeah.
But it's fun to do it.
Starland specifically, they were running that shit right, and I used to get mad when bands did it. I'm like, stop doing it, because you're the reason why they still do this.
Yeah.
Like if we all just stop doing that,
Yeah.
they won't do it. But
Well, I
like, no,
remember,
there's
like,
always someone that wants to fucking jump on that and get their big break or whatever.
All about those exposure bucks, man.
Right.
But like even like Starland, I remember like before they went corporate, like before AEG took them over, like they would pay cash. You know, now you go there, you gotta fucking fill out a tax form and they give you a check, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Fucking I remember like when you first get into that door, they'll give you like the lamest tour that's coming through as your first show. They're like, you're not getting a good show.
No.
The first time you play.
Dude, our first time was I think Power Man 5000.
Right.
Actually,
it's shit like that.
Actually, funny. That's actually like that's where I met Angel for the first time. Is like,
yeah,
because he was playing. I don't know if you remember the band Methodical. I mean, they're still around. Industrial band. So he was playing with them, and that's like where he kind of showed up on my radar for the first time. This was like 2009, back in the MySpace days.
That's hilarious, right? So all right. So you met Angel there.
Yeah. I was playing in Shadows at Dawn at the time.
Right.
And then
what year is this?
This was 2009.
Okay.
Like, very beginning, like January, like I think January. Yeah, it was, not that it matters, but yeah, so it was beginning of 2009. So and then like he had been on my radar. That's like when I first heard about him, and then like I actually heard his music, and I was like, oh shit, man, because he had his first album out, which is now it's out of print. But he had done his first album at that point. I was like, oh shit, this guy can play. Like he's fucking good, right. You know? Because I was into the same shit, you know, Dream Theater and all the Shredders, Malmsteen and Satriani and all that. Yeah. And then maybe like 4 or 5 months later, again, MySpace, he had put out, he was looking for a guitar player. He's putting his band together. So I was like, all right, fuck it, man. I want to try out. Like this guy's pretty good. And that was it. I hit him up. He sent me like 1 or 2 songs. Because at that point he was doing his next album, and it was already recorded. It wasn't mixed. It wasn't released yet. So he sent me a couple of songs. I learned them. Never played a 7-string guitar up to that point. I bought a 7-string just so I could do the audition.
Just for that, right?
Yeah, and then and then from there, like it was. I guess I did all right, because here we are 11 years later, right. And I'm still playing with them. So I guess it turned out all right.
At that point, how long were you playing guitar already? Like, when did you start?
I started in '97, like November. I'm 36, so I was like 13 and a half when I started. Okay. I had a little fucking 3/4 size acoustic guitar with the Mel Bay chord book,
Yeah, I had that too.
And I ended up, I think I broke that guitar. I didn't smash it, but I think I didn't know how to tune it yet, and I tuned it. Right. I kept tuning it, and eventually the strings just ripped the bridge right out of the guitar, and that was the end of that.
Right.
So I had, so like around November '97, I started playing, and then when I graduated 8th grade the following spring, I saved up my graduation money. I got an electric guitar, Squire Strat, which I still have. Don't have the amp anymore. Fender Princeton Chorus amp. I think we all had one of those. That was, at the time, that was like the greatest amp ever. Still have the Strat. It's just in pieces somewhere in my closet. But and then at that point, I discovered like Randy Rhoads. Like that was when I was like, this is what I want to do. Like that was when I was like, all right, I need to practice like all the time and get good. And from there, I went down a rabbit hole. After that, Randy Rhoads, I found Malmsteen and Satriani. At that point, I was already into Metallica and Megadeth. So,
right.
I was into all the heavy shit, Pantera. I was obsessed with Dimebag. And then from there, I just went into like all the prog, Dream Theater, Symphony X, and then the rest is history, man.
Symphony X. I was so happy they were like. I took pride that they were a Jersey band, right? Like,
dude, man, the first time I heard them, I thought they were European. I'm like, yo, this band is awesome. Like, what country are they from? And then I found out, oh, they're from America. And then later on,
the drummer used to work.
The
drummer used to be like a line cook at this place, Cornucopia in Oradell.
Well, I worked at Guitar Center briefly, very briefly, like 2005, 2006, and Mike Pinella he was like the keyboard department manager at the time.
Right.
So like Romeo would come in to try out gear, and I was like all over it, man. Just like up close watching Mike Romeo play guitar is like a privilege.
I felt like I was the only one when I was in New Milford at the time, and like I felt like I'm the only one who knows who Mike Romeo is. It's fucking like because I didn't have a lot of prog friends or anything like that. I was kind of alone in that world.
Same, dude. Because when I started playing, everybody was into nu metal. That was like when nu metal was like the shit. Nobody played guitar solos. Nobody wanted to play technical shit, and I just couldn't find anybody to play with because everybody wanted to play like Limp Bizkit and Flaw and all this other shit. And I was like, this music sucks. Like I want to play Megadeth and Metallica and Pantera. And going back to Birch Hill, man, I remember like one of the first concerts I saw there was Blind Guardian and Symphony X.
Fuck yeah. It's awesome.
As I was still in high school. I must have been still in high school. I mean, that was like I had just discovered Romeo like maybe a couple months before that, and just to like watch him, you know, I was like up close right watching him and just fucking blown away.
Fucking yeah, that dude was sick. And at that point, like I was getting into like all sorts of like instrumental players like Jason Becker and fucking and he came right in that moment of my life when I was fucking starting to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
And this guy's from here?
That's awesome. Yeah, and then like, I saw him play and just like I was like, I'm never gonna be able to play like that.
Right.
I mean, because he still makes it look so effortless. He almost looks bored. He just looks bored, like he's thinking about other things while he's playing all the super technical shit.
That's the difference between me and every other like guy like that. Like, is that I'm fucking putting all of my attention into making sure that this is right, and they're just like, I wonder what's fucking for dinner later. You know, like, or maybe I should call the wife. I don't know. She's probably mad at me.
I think my laundry.
And they're just their mind is just anywhere else, and they're not even effortless.
Dude, I'm the same way, man. I'm like locked in. I'm looking at exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm standing there, just making sure I don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Always.
So, what made you? When was the turning point? Did you decide like, all right, I'm pretty good at this, and I might want to do this for real? Like, what was there a turning point for you like that, or was it just like happenstance? Like you just kind of progressed and met fucking people and.
It was a gradual thing, you know. Like I said, like once I heard like Randy Rhoads and Malmsteen and all these guys, like I was obsessed. Like, all right, I need to practice, you know. And when I was in high school, like I said, I just never. I had a drummer friend that I played with, but could never really get like a band going, just because, like I said, nobody that I knew, I didn't know anybody that played that was into the music that I was. And at this point, the internet is still kind of in its infancy, you know. This is like right before Napster, you know, and I mean, MySpace, social media is not even a thing yet. So I remember just trying to find accurate tabs for songs that you hear, and just finding something. It's not accurate, but it kind of works. You get like a starting point that you kind of figure it out from there. And
it was tough sledding back in the day, man.
Dude, man, I don't know if you remember the online guitar archive, Olga. That was like the source, man. All shitty typed out tabs that were impossible to read.
Yep.
But it was a start. It was something. It was better than nothing.
Yeah.
And
you can at least wrap your mind around a song.
Right.
Like you couldn't learn it perfectly, but at least you could.
You were close enough. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I would just take like the CD player and just rewind. Yeah, I went through so many CDs, just scratching them up, just going back and rewinding. You know, the way kids in the 70s and 80s probably did with vinyl records. Just all right, rewind it, slow it down. What the hell's he doing there? You know, just you really had to use your ears, man. That's how I developed my ears. Just as a kid, just trying to figure out songs, and
that was a big part. And now they have tools that make it so much easier. Like, even when I learn songs now, you know, I had Riff Station I still have Riff Station. I use that a lot.
I was just thinking about that,
yeah. I mean, there's no support for it anymore, but I still have it, and I still use it. I don't know why there's no support for it. It's a fucking great tool.
It's awesome, yeah.
Yeah. But I used to do the same exact shit on, like, you know, my first boombox had the CDs, and I just I would have the remote on my lap and just like hit the
Right.
rewind button.
Dude, same, man. And I remember,
And just like play it, hit the rewind button again.
I remember before I had a I had a 4-track recorder at one point, but before I even had a 4-track recorder, I had 2 boom boxes with a shitty built-in condenser mics. So I would record a riff, and then I would take the tape, put it in the other boom box, and then play that back, and then play over it and record that. So I had like double tracking. It was like the shittiest quality sound ever,
Right.
but it worked. And then eventually I got a 4-track, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. I can do 4 guitars now instead of 2.
And then I would dump them down, so I had to have even more. Like
Right.
there's some demos of me recording on a 4-track where it's just like 8 guitar tracks because I would just I would record 3, dump them all down to 1.
Yeah.
Record a couple more, dump them down again.
I used to record my practice sessions. Man, I have tapes and tapes and tapes. And I remember I was just going through, like, when I moved out of my house, out of my dad's house, like I was just going through all my tapes and like going back and listening to like, oh, this is what I sounded like 20 years ago, man. It was a fucking trip.
It's crazy, yeah. And you know, in some aspects, because you were, you know, I'm sure you were the same way. But when I first started playing, dude, it was an everyday grind. Like I grinded out my learning, I grinded out my skills, like 24/7, just all guitar all the time. No fucking yeah.
Dude, same, man. Like all through high school, that was it. I was obsessed. And when I wasn't playing guitar,
in some weird aspects of that, like I'm like, you know what? That's pretty fucking good. Like it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you know, I don't fucking grind as hard as I used to, but goddamn.
Dude, it's definitely. I mean, it's harder as you obviously. It's definitely harder as you get older. I mean, for me, it's still like I'm still obsessed. You know, it's just like I still have the same love for it now that I had when I was 13. And I just don't think that's ever going to go away.
No, it never goes away. It's just you have more responsibility. You can't just fuck everything off.
Fuck yeah, man. Especially when you're touring, when you're planning a tour and get ready for a tour, man. Sometimes the guitar is like the playing aspect of preparing for a tour is sometimes the least important thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's fucked up how that goes. But fucking yeah, it's crazy. I did a lot of the same shit you were doing, just trying to learn songs by ear, rewind things, just keep going back. Fucking and I used to have a Zoom processor.
Dude, the 505, man.
I used to plug it directly into the boombox, and that's how I was getting my sound.
Dude, I had the Zoom 505, the little black box with the 2 buttons, and I remember I used to plug that into my Fender Princeton chorus amp. And I remember I found a preset. It was like a clean tone with this chorus, and it was the guitar tone on Welcome Home Sanitarium. It was it sounded just like the album. And I was so happy. I played that for hours because I was just so happy. I'm like, man, it sounds just like the album. This is the greatest thing ever. And then like I remember too, like when we played talent shows in high school, like I said, it was just me and my friend on drums. Dude, so I'm like, man, this amp's not loud enough. I mean, it was like 65 watts, which is fucking loud, but I'm like, it's not loud enough. So I was in the choir, in the music room, we had another Princeton chorus amp. And it had a power amp in and a preamp out. So I figured out how to daisy chain them together. So we played talent shows, and I would run both amps at the same time. And I didn't, you know, a noise gate, what the fuck is a noise gate? And so like we would set up on stage, and like the noise would be so loud. It would be louder than what I was playing. Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what a noise gate was. It was loud. It was distortion. It sounded heavy. I didn't care. I had a wah pedal. At that point, I had gotten a crybaby, so like add more noise to it, and it was just making all kinds of racket. But it was the greatest sound ever.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I was doing similar shit. I bought a Trace Elliott half stack. It was like meant for acoustic guitars, but like it was a half stack, so I didn't give a fuck. And it was super cheap. I got it at Willowbrook Mall for like the whole thing was like $600 or something.
Damn.
And it was really mostly just the fucking cab was, you know, Trace Elliott didn't fuck around on the cab. It was nice Celestians in there, fucking, you know. So the cab was really the whole price of the fucking package.
Yeah.
So, but I got that and put like processors on it and fucking was just, that's how I played out in my first fucking couple of bands.
Dude, my first like real like half stack. It was a Line 6 Flex Tone 2.
Damn.
So I had the head and the cab. The cab, actually, man, the Line 6 cabs back in the day were actually pretty nice because they had Celestians in them too.
Yeah.
And dude, like that, that was my rig for a while, but I spent all the money on the rig, so I couldn't afford the foot pedal. So when I wanted to switch sounds, like I'd have to walk up to the amp and like change the sound. Like, all right, I need to go to a clean tone now. So I'd have to like go up there and change it real quick. So I had that for a couple of years. And then I was obsessed with Jacksons. I had Kellys, I had a Rose, I had Dinkies, I had just whatever I could afford. You know, I couldn't afford like the real expensive USA Jacksons. So like at that point, you know, you can get like a mid-price one for like $300-400. So I had so many of them. You know, I would just like swap out the pickups and just pretty much do like Eddie Van Halen, man. Just fucking take parts off, put new pickups in, swap out the Floyd Rose, put like a different Floyd, just do all kinds of shit to customize them. And I did that for a couple of years. And just as you get better, you start realizing that some of the gear, like you need to like up the gear a little bit. It's just kind of limiting, you know, you need better gear, better amp, better guitar. It's just a gradual process, man. You know, you have a piece of gear for a couple of years and you upgrade it. You have a guitar. I mean, some of the guitars I have, I mean, I've had forever, you know, like I like to collect them. So, you know, those I'll keep, but like amps and stuff, like if I find an amp that I really like, if I have an amp that I don't use, I'll just fucking sell it and just upgrade.
Yeah, the guitars that I've had, I've kept around. The ones that I haven't gotten stolen, I've kept. But yeah, amps, you know, they come and go, and they do improve, like, often.
Dude, I remember, like, so when I first joined Shadows of Dawn, this was in 2004. So our guitar player at the time had the Rockshon Prophecy.
Right.
That was the Axe Effects before the Axe Effects.
Yep.
Like the Prophecy was the shit.
I used to fuck around with a lot of those different kinds of fucking things.
Dude, the Rockshon, like those old Rockshon, like I had a Rockshon Chameleon, which was like
That was the one I was about to say.
That was the first one, man.
It was like the gold standard. I used to go into Guitar Center or Sam Ash and just go in that little, because they had it in a separate room. I would just plug into the Chameleon and just play all fucking.
My guitar teacher was like I call a reformed shredder, because he was all about the 80s shred. And then later on, he ended up becoming like a producer, producing pop artists and stuff. So, when I was taking lessons from him, he was teaching me all the shred stuff, because he didn't really teach that anymore. And like, it was cool. He was getting back into it. So he had one. I mean, he was selling off all his gear, from his metal days. He didn't fucking use it anymore. So I was like, I would buy whatever I could off of him. And that's how I got the Chameleon. I had that I think I still have it too. I don't even know if it works anymore.
I loved that thing.
That thing sounded amazing. Like I had that at one point. I was running that with the Line 6. I was running the Line 6 as a power amp and the Chameleon as my preamp, and that was awesome. My phone for a while, man. And it sounded good. Like for what it was, I had it dialed in pretty good. It was a sweet rig.
Yep. Yeah. If I could go, if we take all day, if I went through all the shit that I've had and tried to use. Yeah. I had the Tri-Axis at one point.
Dude, I had oh man,
I sold my Tri-Axis and got my first Axe Effects. That's where that.
Dude, that's it, man. I have the Axe Effects too. Like that thing is the shit, man. Like I use it for everything. I had oh god, I had so many angle amps too. Like not at once, but I mean, I had a Powerball. I had a Savage 120. I had then my old guitar player had this Marshall that he had it from his uncle. It was modded. It was an old Marshall Plexi. It was like one of the original like early 70s like 100-watt super lead.
Right.
And he had it modded. He had extra gain stages added. He had an effects loop added to it. And that amp was fucking killer, man. We used to record with that thing all the time. And so we had that for a little bit. Another amp that was killer was the old Ampeg VH140C.
Yeah.
Those heads are fucking awesome, man.
Amazing.
Amazing solid state head. The clean tone on that was like perfect.
Yeah, a lot of the players, especially where we came from, chasing a clean tone wasn't a real priority for most of the people up there. You know what I mean?
No.
But for me, it was like that's kind of was like a driving factor of why I bought like a 5150, like, and shit like that. Like,
yeah, because like
I could get a fucking killer clean tone.
Every band that I've ever been in, we always played heavy shit, but we always had clean sections or acoustic sections. So like playing live, like we had to have that, and good clean tone was always important.
When you think of clean tone, where does your mind go? Like, what tone do you chase?
I mean, the JC120 is like the gold standard,
right?
But dude, I'll tell you something, man. The old 80A MP1.
The MP1, yep.
Dude, that was a killer preamp. I remember like lead tones, clean tones. That was amazing. Another amazing piece of gear from the 80s that will never be uncool.
Nope. 80A MP1. I remember my friend Tom was all about that, sweating that thing so much.
Yeah.
Fucking
It was the MP1 and the MP2. The MP2 was cool, but not as good. It wasn't like the MP2 had more features, like you could do more things with like the effects loop, and it was MIDI programmable. But the MP1 it sounded better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. We kind of like, I guess we all stepped at the same simultaneously. We're doing kind of the same things.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Yeah.
Fucking so Shadows at Dawn. When did that start? Is that your project, or was that like?
No.
Did you join on there or what?
So, the original singer John, and Dan, and our bass player Dan, they started the band. They were in high school. So they had the band going for a couple of years before I joined. So at one point, we had
super weird because I just considered that your band.
No, I mean, eventually, there were so many lineup changes. Our old singer left, like, and at some point, yeah, I think it kind of did become like my thing a little bit, you know, because like at some point, our Dan, the bass player, became the singer. I was the only other member left from that era. We had a whole new lineup, so yeah, it was kind of like a new thing. But the band had been going for, at that, like I said, at that point, like I think since like 2000 or 2001. And it never really, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't go as far as I wanted it to. I thought there was so much potential for it because at one point we had 3 guitar players. Because when I joined the band, like our singer John, he played guitar. They had another guitar player, Rob, who left the band and then came back, and then so he was in like later versions of the lineup. But they didn't have a lead guitar player, like someone who like really shred. So that was like kind of where I came in. Back in I don't know if you remember Harmony Central.
I do.
It was like the musicians wanted ads, like back in the day. That's like where they found me. Yeah, it was like Iced Earth, Iron Maiden, Children of Bodom, and that's when they found me because they were into the same shit.
I haven't written an ad like that in a really long time, where you just like shell out every band you know.
It's funny, man, because like there's the famous story of James and Lars, like the Recycler. They find each other in the Recycler, and then that's like our version of that was Harmony Central, the Harmony Central message boards. Yeah. Yep.
I want to sound like Meshuggah and meets Iron Maiden meets fucking. All right, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then so Shadows of Dawn, we were doing our thing for a couple of years. That was like a couple of years later when we met you guys and we were playing gigs together at Dingbats. All those shows with Jose Mangan.
Yeah.
Heart Attack Thursdays.
Yep. But who knew that guy? He'd go on. He's introducing us at the same time. He's also introducing Metallica.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man?
those shows were fun, though, man. Those were fun shows. And and then just like the band just it just didn't go anywhere. It wasn't, at some point I was like, you know what? I need to like go on my own.
Right.
And I'd always wanted to do an instrumental. Like I'd always been into instrumental music, and I always wanted to do like a side project or a solo album. So back in 2016, I did an Angel tour with Gus G. And Gus G at the time was still playing with Ozzy. And that was kind of like the catalyst for like, all right, just watching those two guys, because every night they would jam together at the end of the set.
Oh, yeah.
So just watching the two of them fucking jam together was like just every night. It was amazing. It was just like fuck, man, I'm hanging out with two of the best guitar players in the world.
Yeah.
Not only am I playing with them every night, but I get to watch them fucking jam together every night. And I kind of lit a fire under my ass. I was like, all right, I need to do this. So that was when I started putting Etherius together. I didn't know it was going to be Etherius. I thought it was going to be just me. I was going to do, put out an album or an EP or whatever under my name. So that was when I started putting the songs together. And then like a couple months later, I run into Zachy Ali, another staple of the Jersey metal scene, Darkness Descends. And actually, I ran into him at NAMM, funny enough. And we were just hanging out. We were probably high as fuck. And
he's one of those dudes that's annoyingly good at everything.
He's just, dude, like he fucking plays, like obviously everyone knows him as a drummer, but he's a fucking killer guitar player. He plays piano, like him and our other guitar player, John, like they programmed all the keyboards for the last couple albums. Like, he's just a fucking all-around multi-talented guy, and he does everything well.
Then I'm gonna edit my own videos and be my own engineer, and I'm just gonna do everything.
Yes, basically.
And be great at it.
Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly the way it works. Right. So, whatever, I ran into him at NAMM, and we're talking. We're probably like high as fuck or something. It's like, oh, dude, I have these songs, man. Well, we had talked like in previous years, like, oh, we should totally do something together. You know how it is, man. Like, you have certain friends in the scene. You're like, yeah, man, we should play together, and they just never do. That was like me and Zach have been for a couple of years, like every now and then, every time we run into each other, yo, man, we should do something together. And then finally at NAMM that one year in 2017, I was like, dude, I have some songs. Like, let me send them to you. So I sent it to him, and then that was it, man. That was the first Etherius EP that we released in 2018. So that's where it started.
Yeah, I've also like instrumental music my whole life too, and I never got around to do anything like that. I just don't know if I got what it takes, though, man. I don't know.
It's fun. It's also, dude.
You guys hit a different level than I hit.
It's a challenge because you have a section because problem with instrumental music, especially like some of the modern bands. I think there's a lot of bands that are too good. Right. I don't know, if that makes any sense. Like they're so good that the music kind of gets lost in all the chops and all the playing. And
that's exactly what I was about to say. The song gets lost in just trying to play really good.
Yeah, and just everybody gets caught up in chops and just like, oh, I have this sick riff, like let me fit it into this song. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a sick riff and it's got to go there, So I try to avoid that at all, when I think of instrumental music, I think of like Satriani. Surfing with the Alien is a great example. That whole album is like very traditional song structures, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, and it's beautiful. It works perfectly. Every song has a melody that you can hum. It's got a verse. It's got a chorus.
That's why it's so successful, man. Fucking because it is traditional song structure. You're right. A lot of people do lose sight of that. Of like they're just trying to play the sickest shit and forget that this is. You have to make this a song still.
Dude,
like,
I love
you could fit that in there somewhere, but like
absolutely, man. Like, so my whole goal is like, all right, I want to write heavy shit. Like I love Nevermore and Iced Earth. That's like the shit that I grew up with. Symphony X, Dream Theater, like we were just talking about. Right. I want to write that style, but instrumental. So my whole premise for writing is just like, all right, the song's got to have a structure to it. Intro, verse, chorus. We can play around with the arrangements a little bit. We might have a bridge section that's a little bit longer, where we kind of go off on a tangent a little bit. But it always comes back to like every song has a hook, whether it's the riff or whether it's the lead guitar as like the vocal. Every song has a hook, and that's just so important to me because I don't like playing music for other guitar players, which is kind of funny to say. It's like, all right, when we do all these instrumental tours, like the audience is mostly guitar players. Right. I want people who don't play an instrument to be like, yo, this is fucking awesome. Like I can listen to this. I don't want the musicianship to get lost on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fine line, especially as a ripping guitar player. You can get lost easily.
Dude, it's so easy, like to just, all right, dude, I just want to impress all the other musicians in the audience. I'm gonna do the sickest shit that I know. And it's like, all right, so let's say you do that. Like, well, where do you go from there? It's like,
I like that's
left.
come back around, especially like in contemporary times. Like you forget Satch and all those legends. Like now you got Keith Merrow doing shit like that, where he does make structured songs and they're all instrumental, and he
Yeah,
has just other people
like
playing on
Concrete
his records.
Dystopia, dude. Like that's some of
Yeah,
this. That's those riffs are fucking amazing.
yeah, yeah. The Conquering Dystopia stuff, his own stuff, Jeff Loomis's fucking
Yeah, man.
records. Yeah, sick.
And then I think and then you have like a band like Polyphia, which is kind of taking like the trip hop thing and
Yeah,
bringing instrumental guitar into like hip hop and like trance and like trip hop.
my brain malfunctioned when I first listened to Goat, because that was my introduction to Polyphia, was that
Yeah.
song.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, hold on, what's going on here?" All
Like
right, I got to
like
listen to this song 80 times just to see, like, check out what's happening here.
you know what, man? Like I've tried listening to that, and dude, they're fucking awesome. They're great musicians. I can't get into it, man.
Yeah,
It's not for me. It's just not. Uh, it's creative, man. It's definitely
it is
innovative.
creative. Yeah,
It's innovative. I like that they're doing something different, but it's just I can't get into it, man. It's just not for me.
that song I definitely got into. Maybe it's just my introduction to it, and it was so different that I. Oh, there's an Amber Alert. Sorry.
Uh
Yeah. Oh, this phone's gonna fucking Amber Alert me too. All right.
oh. Who's Amber? What's going on here?
Yeah, but it was just so different that I just had to listen to it a few times over just to fucking see what was happening. And then I started listening to the other shit, and none of it was really as good, or it was just more of the same.
Right. Yeah,
But
I think a band like that is like once you find a formula and you find your sound, you kind of just stick with it and you don't really deviate from it.
yeah, but fucking yeah, there's a bunch of other artists doing stuff, and I like that some of the more. There are other bands still doing instrumentals too, like August Burns Red did Legend of
Yeah,
Zelda, which is awesome.
dude, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, but like everyone's still doing like a little bit of instrumentals on their albums. I'm glad that's not a lost fucking
No,
thing.
it's definitely it's. I think it's it's a challenge because I think it's definitely easier to write with a vocalist because when you're doing instrumental music, you just have so much space that you have to fill in.
Yep.
Which is the other thing too is like when we're writing Etherius songs, like I don't want like I don't want the songs to just be like a 5 minute guitar solo. There's got to be
Yeah.
breaks. Whether you let the riff just play out and just breathe, or you add like an acoustic section, whatever, man. You just don't want to just hit people over the head with lead guitar just constantly because it just after a while it's just like, all right, enough is enough already.
Has Angel like directly helped you with that, or do you like just learn from him like how he constructs the songs just by like observing him, or is he like giving you input or?
I mean, we write the songs. He's produced the two EPs that we've done. So in other words,
Okay.
like he records it. He's like the recording producer / engineer. So like the way we worked for the first two albums is we'll do pre-production. Obviously, like we're saying, Zach being like the mix master engineer extraordinaire. The one man show.
Right.
We'll do all the pre-production at his house. Then we'll track drums, and then we'll take it to Angel. We'll track guitars with Angel. He'll comp everything. We'll do all the leads. The biggest help with him is like with my leads. A lot of times, like I'll come in like during pre-pro, like I'll have ideas for leads, and then like 80% of it will get scrapped, and he'll be like, well, let's try this instead. And a lot of it is really him just kind of steering me in different directions as far as like the solos.
Right. Is he a guy
Because
that
I
tries to
have
compose every aspect of the solo, or is he like it when it's more free flowing off the
it's a little
cuff,
bit
or
of
does he
both.
super compose it?
It's both. It's like 50-50.
Okay, that's
Like
cool.
what we'll do, like we'll loop a section, like 8 bars or 10 bars, whatever, and he'll be like, "All right, dude, I'm gonna go take a break to just play, and I'll just play for 10 minutes, just improvise something, and then he'll come back, and we'll be like, all right, there's a couple things in there that I thought were cool. Let's take those ideas and build on it. So we'll take a couple little snippets here and there, and then I'll work something around it and then compose it from there. So it's a little bit of both, just improvising, recording some of the improv. All right, a couple little things here and there that we can take from that, and then we'll compose a solo with that in mind.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome that he approaches it like that.
It's cool because, like, for me, I have a lot of cool ideas, but sometimes I just don't know where to go with it. Sometimes I need someone to push me in a direction. Like, all right, because my brain will go in a million different places and I'll get nothing done. So,
Right.
and Angel knows my playing better than anybody else, so it works. He knows, like, all right, I know what you can do. I know what you're really good at. I know what you're not so good at. Let's take little pieces here and there of what you just did, and we'll compose something from there and just work on it.
Fuck yeah, man. That's awesome.
It's cool. Yeah, it's a very good process because we work hard, but it's not stressful.
Right. What was his cycle like? What does working on his project take up, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60% of your musical time, or is that a major part of your fucking game, or is that just like a minor part of your game?
That's definitely a minor part of it because he writes all the music.
Right.
It's his project. Like, I'm just the guy that comes in. I do the gigs live. I've played on the records. So, but writing the music, that's him. That's all him.
That's all him.
I have nothing to do with that.
Right on.
And then, like, he's working on a new album that's all acoustic, but like records before, he has all the songs done. He sends them to us. We learn them. So we come in the whole band. Me, Bill Thor on drums, and Jake, our bass player. The four of us, not so much anymore, but like we used to come in. The four of us would just do pre-pro. We would rehearse the songs together, and then go to the studio and track everything.
Right
now it's a little bit different just because, we're older, we have more responsibilities. So the process changes a little bit, but it still starts with Angel writing all the music, and he'll program the drums and send it to us. All right, guys, just learn these, and then we go from there.
Right on.
So
I saw also when he did the tour with Nita Strauss, were you also playing in her band, or were you just? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was.
How did that come about, and why?
Yeah, I was playing with Angel and Nita. Dean was playing bass, our buddy
Right.
Dean. So Angel and Nita have been, because Angel does this tour called the Guitar Collective every year. We didn't do it last year. Obviously, we didn't do it this year because of all the shit going down. But he's trying to make it like a yearly and like a once a year thing. So we did the first one in 2017 with Scala Summit and Andy James.
Right.
So then the next year we did with
Nita. I got
Nita.
sick. Yeah,
that was
love Andy James.
Amazing tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's a fucking great guy. Amazing player, just a lot of fun to hang out with too. Angel and Nita have been friends for years, and they've been talking about doing a tour together because in 2018 she did her first solo album came out. So it was like the tour was going to happen right around the time that she was releasing her album. So it made sense. So it was cool. Like earlier that year, we went to see Alice Cooper up north. He was doing a tour. So that's when I got to meet her for the first time. And at that point, they had been talking logistics of like when the tour possibly was going to happen. So, and it just made sense that we share, members. Like her boyfriend Josh plays drums, so he's gonna play with her. We have Anthony Barone from Beneath the Massacre and Shadow of Intent. Anthony's
right.
Any drummer in the extreme metal genre will know Anthony. He's fucking amazing, sick drummer. So it was like, well, all right, let's get Jake to just play for both. Like why have extra people?
Right.
So that's really how that came about. So. Yeah, and then like later that fall, like a couple months before the tour, Nita was like, "Hey, here's the songs," because her solo album hadn't been out yet. So going back to like you were talking about Riff Station before, man, that's how I learned the song. That's how I learned her songs. She sent me the songs.
Yeah.
I learned there were no tabs, nothing. She didn't send me any videos of like, all right, this is how I'm playing the riffs. Because she tours between Alice Cooper and her other stuff.
She's busy.
She's never home. Yeah, so.
Right.
So it was like, all right, I put all the songs in Riff Station and just learned them by ear, and that was it, man. Dean would come over, and literally like twice a week, me and Dean fucking like 3-4 hours, we would get the set down and just practice.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
fuck, Riff Station is such a valuable tool, and I'm sad that I can't even push it right now because they've stopped supporting it. You can't even download it right now.
Yeah.
But like, dude, like you could do pretty much everything in it.
I just
you could
love
slow
that
it down. You could change the pitch.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So if something's in standard but you tune a half step down, you just fucking click the button down, half step, boom.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like you could really slow it down like to the speed, so you could practice it up to the tempo. You don't have to just learn it at speed.
Yeah, because
right?
and a lot of times, and the great thing about slowing it down is a lot of times, just especially with mixes, there's sometimes there's so much going on. It's like, what the fuck is the rhythm guitar doing? Like I hear the riff, but I can't figure it out because there's like 5 other things going on in my ear. So Riff Station is good, man. You slow it down, it really helps you like figure out each individual note.
Yeah. And for her, like it's got to be rough too, because like she's playing the main parts, right? So you're trying to listen to underneath shit.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. She sent me the songs without guitar solos.
Oh,
which is fucking awesome.
Right.
But still, there's keyboards, and between the drums and the bass and the keyboards, you still got to figure out some of the guitar riffs. And her music is not as hard as Angel's, but still, like I'm learning it. Angel's music I've been playing for years. Like I fucking know this shit like front and back. I can play it in my sleep. With her music, obviously, because I'm hearing it for the first time, it's still challenging. There's still some challenging stuff there to learn.
Yeah.
So it's just like every day, just come home from work, just practice Nita's set, practice Angel's set, like every day for a couple months, like just every single day.
That's badass. Yeah, I've been in those situations too where I've had to learn in crunch time.
Yeah.
Fucking where you're sitting there. They weren't as hard, but I had probably more volume than difficulty.
You're probably learning like 20 songs in 2 weeks or something, man. Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. So are you writing a new thing for Etherius now, or did you just release something? Like what's going on with Etherius?
We just released it's a full length album. It's short, it's like 25 minutes, but we released an album in April. It's called Chaos Order Renewal, and if anybody wants to check it out, etheriusband.com is our website. All the videos are there, all the music. We're on Spotify, all the major digital platforms, like every other band, Bandcamp, all that shit. So we were supposed to go on tour with the Legion and Etherius. If anybody knows who they are, man, 2 like fucking amazing bands, death metal bands. That was supposed to happen. We were going to do some more touring later in the year. Obviously, that's all bye-bye. So hopefully next year it'll happen. So we've just been kicking around ideas for the next album and shooting videos for this just to push more content for this album. So we just shot a music video about a month ago. And then I start shooting some guitar playthroughs like this weekend.
Right on.
It's it's gonna be like a little bit of a light show, and it's gonna look sick. Just so we have content, just stuff to put out. There's only so much that I can post on Instagram and
the constrictions of either 15 seconds or a minute.
Yeah.
Know? But it's a tough time now, right? Like, because everyone, like, the content market is super saturated.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fucking doing something new here. This is everyone's fucking doing the same kind of thing that I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing to do, but at the same time, like I just on the quiet end of things, like I'm sitting here building a library of either cover songs, playthroughs, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm currently bandless. Fucking. So it's just building a library of my playing, my ability, my fucking songwriting, all that shit. Fucking.
Yeah.
Just so when the world does open back up.
Yeah, be ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing, like the one thing I always like respected with you too is like, especially with those Michael Graves tours, like you were the one booking them. Like you were, I know you work with agents, but
yeah.
I mean, I know you were like the.
Yeah, we had agents. They booked the tours, but I was definitely the point man on pretty much every business thing we had.
Yeah.
You know, I would turn to Michael, be like, "Yo, does this sound good?" He'd be like, "Yes" or "No," and then I would go back and do all the work. Right?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Nah, dude, that's you have to be your own manager. You know.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you have to be your own manager, your own.
You kind of have to be everything.
Yeah. And you have to also know like when you need to not pawn, but outsource things to other people.
Yeah.
You know, like when you need to pay for high quality videos or whatever it is, a killer website. Like you got to know what your strengths, what your weaknesses are, and what you give to other people as far as giving them work. It's like for me, I would love to be able to. I mean, I put my videos on Instagram and stuff. I do that myself, and the quality can definitely be better. I'm always working on trying to improve my ability to shoot video and mix, engineer my own recordings and stuff. But I know that's not my strength.
Yeah.
So whenever I have the chance to, I'm always gonna give it to somebody who is good at that.
Yeah.
But it's all about just adapting and just learning how to do as many things as possible on your own.
It's a never-ending process with all this shit, man. You know what? I was about to say, guitar playing has taken a slight back seat.
It's like the least important thing.
Yeah, it's not that it's not important or anything like that. It's just because like I'm learning so much on like the engineering side that like I sometimes I'll cover songs just to practice recording.
Yeah.
Like I'm not covering it just because like I really want to cover the song and get it out to everyone. I'm practicing,
Yeah. Dude, same, man. I'm learning, my big thing is drum programming. Like I'm not good at it. I'm getting better. So like you should see if I played you some of the pre-production demos that I have, like from like new music that I'm working on, music that we've already released, like you'd be like, dude, these drums make no sense. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep. I used to be like that. I've gotten a lot better. Drum programming is one thing I've gotten pretty proficient at and pretty.
I'm getting better at it. I'm definitely not at a level where I'm competent enough to program a song, record it, and then release it. I can send a song to Zach and be like, all right, dude, can you make sense of this?
Do something with this, right?
Yeah, do something with this, and then he'll make it into this amazing thing. I'm fuck, all right.
Yeah.
This is why I don't do that.
Right. It's amazing. Like, I've gone from recording with bands and trying to fucking the ISO tracks of David Lee Roth's vocals. You can hear the headphones.
Right. Yeah. And the other cool thing about
Mm-hmm.
going back and listening to guitar tracks from classic records, dude, for perfect example, man, Tornado of Souls, I think we can all agree that's one of the Marty's best solos. That's one of the best Megadeth solos, best riffs. Right. But you go back and you listen to just the guitar solo, it's not as clean as you think. Yeah. His signal is noisy and the playing is not as clean as you expect. It's just mixed so well. Yeah. But there's an attitude, the way his vibrato, the way he phrases, there's just such an attitude to it. It doesn't matter. It's still fucking awesome.
Yeah. I love listening to shit like that, fucking nerding out. And it gives me confidence too, because, you start recording your own shit and you get, anxiety or, I don't know if this is good,
yeah,
this is good enough. But then when you hear shit like that, oh, you know what? This is actually how I go about it too.
Yeah. Dude, man, the best thing I've ever learned, one of my friends said, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because, I'm sure you've been there, I've been there. We work on a song, we work on a mix, and we're it's missing something. It's got to be perfect. It's perfect. At some point, you got to say, you know what, fuck it, man. This is good enough.
Yeah.
Just put it out.
Learning when to walk away from a mix is one of the hardest things that I deal with.
And it's funny, man, because especially with this last Etherius album, we were going back and forth the mixes, and we're oh, the guitar's not loud enough, or there's a lot of keyboard ambient sounds going on, the synths aren't loud enough. Yeah. And then at some point it's all right, I think this mix is good. It's not gonna get any better, it's not gonna get any worse. Let's fuck it. We put it out, and then people are like, oh, dude, this sounds awesome. The production's amazing. Who produced this? Who mastered it? Like, and you see everybody, like most people like it. And you're like, all right,
Yeah.
It makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just your own mental obstacles that you have to fucking jump over,
always,
and because you're so hyper focused on things, and everyone wants to win some sort of sonic battle, right? If you're in a band with other real people, it's not just you, right? Like everyone wants to win some sort of sonic battle.
Yeah, it's like the guitar is not loud enough,
Right.
The fucking hi-hat is louder than the lead guitar. What's going on here?
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the common thing is like, well, where's the bass? Like, I don't hear the bass. What's going on?
If you ask Joe, that's like, because I'm just notoriously burying the bass. Like, and I was, I've been in so many bands with Joe, like where I've just buried him on mixes. And what's funny now that I'm here at home recording my own bass, like now that they're in the mix. It's funny how that works.
Dude, so funny. Yeah. I mean, and like just go with bass, man, I've learned that, dude, bass is so important. Like you just can't, don't fuck with the bass. Like it's got to be there.
Learning how to engineer has actually helped me with putting bass in the mix. Like, why? I don't know. Maybe we weren't doing it correctly before, but like now that I know like the basics of engineering and like where the frequencies should sit and like not fight with the kick drum and all these other things that you don't know when you're a noob.
Yeah.
Learning all those things have helped me realize how important the fucking bass guitar is and where to put it.
It's helped me like dealing with like bass and just low frequencies. It's helped me figure out how my room sounds compared to like my car. Because like I'll do a mix like in my room here, and I'm like, man, the bass is really loud. But then I'll take it to my car and be like, wow, the bass is like kind of there, but it needs to be a little bit louder, and you start to hear it differently. Yeah.
You need studio headphones, bro. Yeah. Because when I was relying on just my room, because like this room is not treated, it's not anything. I have studio monitors, but like when you're in a room that's not treated and you're like I didn't fucking do perfect measurements of where my monitors sit compared to my fucking ears and shit like that.
Yeah.
I would go into the car and cry. Like, what the fuck was I listening to? Like, this is not anything like I fucking heard. So studio fucking headphones,
dude,
bro.
I feel your pain, man. Yeah.
Necessity.
Yeah.
I used to want to kill myself in the car. Just like, what the fuck am I doing? That car test is like the telling moment, because you listen to so much music in your car,
dude,
that you just know the way it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And you know when it's not that.
Yeah.
You just go in there and start crying. I just spent so many hours tracking, just did like a mix, thought it was perfect, and it sucks.
5 hours of my life that I'll never get
right.
But I learned something new.
All right. God damn. I love that everyone does the car test too. That's like,
dude, it's got to be the car, man.
Yeah.
Actually, another test too. Like I remember we did a demo. Shout out to Don, did a demo back in the day, and the engineer had this like shitty old '70s stereo system. So he would play mixes on there, and it sounded good on there. It was like, all right, this mix is it's good.
Nice. Yeah. You got to have a reliable source that you know how the shit sounds.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. You just made me like start remembering, because I've recently started recording a whole lot of things now. I have run into the car. It takes me about 15 seconds. Nope, got to go back upstairs. There are days where I run up and down my stairs, like when it's like the final mixing day, where I'm running up and down the stairs like 25 times. Like, nope, not it.
Dude, yeah. Another thing with recording that like I was always against, but I'm actually like, I don't know if I'll ever go back, is like reamping. Like I was always against reamping because I felt like when you're playing through an amp, how the amp responds, it's going to make you play a certain way.
Yeah.
And reamping is like you're plugging direct into the console or your interface or whatever, using a plugin just to get a tone for there. But I find that like the more that we've done it, I actually like it. I like being able to go back and like, all right, we've got 5 different amps here. Let's see which one's going to sound good.
Well, here's the thing about that where I've grown to love it, especially for doing solos, a lot of lead work and shit like that. Where if you're happy with the way that your original amp sounds and you get a fucking great take, that takes there forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you don't like the tone of it, or if you just want to tweak it with another amp, then the take is perfect. It's the guitar, the playing's not going to change. You keep the take, just throw in another amp in there, and that's why I love.
Yeah, that was the mistake we made with the first Etherius EP. Like we tracked with an amp, we had it all dialed in. We thought we had it all dialed in.
Right.
Then we sent it out to get mixed, and the engineer's like, man, there's some frequencies in here that I can't get rid of, and it's not going to sound good in the mix.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys have the DI tracks. We're like, DI tracks? What are you talking about? He's like, all right, you guys are going to have to re-record all the rhythm tracks. Send me the DIs, and I'll reamp it. So we tracked all the rhythms again. Then we found out later on, we didn't track with a DI box, so the signal was weak. So we send him the DIs. He's like, dude, this signal is weak. Like, you guys need a DI box to make it a balanced signal.
Right.
So, all right, we gotta fucking do it for a third time. It actually worked out because the third time, like, we went back and listened, like, dude, the fucking rhythm track sounded way better the third time. Just the performances, not just the tone, but the performances were a lot better. So it was a pain in the ass to do it 3 times, but it worked out because it ended up being much better playing.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why, I have the Axe FX 3 here, and I just send a separate line out. Yeah. Just my playing.
The other thing I had to get used to with recording too is like, not so much on my own, but like, Angel did a couple of records with Will Putney. Anybody knows Will Putney, he's like the top dog. He's any fucking metal record that's come out in the last 10, 15 years, he's probably produced it, mixed it, mastered it. And I'm the way I always track, I'm kind of old school with recording. Like, I will record I'll record a rhythm track from start to finish. I'll do like maybe 3 or 4 takes of a song from start to finish. Right. And then maybe from there we'll pick the best one. And then it's like, all right, we need to go back. There's a couple little spots. I'll just punch in little things here and there. Maybe I missed a note. Maybe I flubbed something. Yeah. With like recording with Will, it was like, all right, we're going to take these 2 measures here. You're just going to record that one little 2-bar riff. You're going to record it like 10 times in a row. All right, we're going to move on to the next section, the next couple of bars. All right, you're going to record that 10 times.
I still do it the old school way like you do it. Especially a rhythm track. I'm going from start to finish.
Yep.
And then I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. But I've done it a few times now. That's the way I work with Angel, because that's the way Angel likes to work, because that's the way he worked with Will. So now it's like, all right, because sometimes you be tracking a song and you're coming up to a part, there's a part coming up that's going to be a little challenging. So it kind of fucks with you a little bit because, like, you're not there yet. So you still got to focus on what you're playing, and you end up fucking it up. With recording it this way, it's like, all right, I just need to focus on this one little part, and you end up playing better.
Right.
But still,
how does he do it? How does he do it? Does he set the record function on loop, and you just keep and you just keep grinding it?
Just do like 10 takes. We listen back to each take and then just comp it together. Pick whichever takes were the best, comp them together, and then move on.
And what signifies like a section? Just like the verse to the chorus? Is that
like
we'll
pick
1?
Like however the riff goes, like whether it's 2 bars, 4 bars, whatever it is, it might be an entire verse. We'll just record that. Or it might just be like the first half of the verse. This the first, riff number 1, and then all right, we'll go to riff number 2. It just depends on how whatever the riff is, however it's arranged. We'll either record like the whole riff, or we'll break it down and do like half of it and then the other half of it.
Have you ever sat there and like just let something completely dominate your brain where you've had to walk away?
Dude. So I'm not one to get frustrated in the studio, or just when recording in general, but there's one song that we were working on. I had to record a solo, and I had something worked out, and Angel was like, "Dude, this is like what you're playing is cool, but it doesn't fit. Like, we're getting rid of this. We're starting over. Like, you're gonna come up with something completely new."
Right.
So I had come up with this tapping lick. I don't like, honestly, I recorded it and I haven't played it since. So I have to go back and like listen to it and relearn it. I came up with this like tapping legato lick, and like I'm alternate picking. Like that's my strength. Like tapping and legato is like I can do it, but it's not my best. It's not the best part of my playing. It's getting better because I've been practicing it a lot more since then. But I was just getting real frustrated with this solo, man, because I'm like, I don't like this. This just doesn't. It's not how I play. It's not fitting. And I was genuinely getting like pissed, like to the point where like I put the guitar down and like stormed out and like threw a temper tantrum. And whatever. I went and like just fucking screamed my head off for like 5 minutes. Come back, and then it was like, all right, let's try this again. And I tried it, and a couple hours later, you know, it was frustrating, but it fucking came out awesome.
Yeah.
But it was worth it was worth the frustration and the stress.
The struggles are real, man. Like,
yeah.
Especially if you're gonna have it change last second like that, because it's hard. You worked and you wrote a solo, right? Once you write something like that and you've heard it so many times in your head with that melody, how it should go, it's hard to break out of that rut. Like,
yeah,
it already sounds like this to me. This is already the way it should go.
Yeah.
So to completely reimagine something is hard, man.
Yeah. But it worked out.
You know, take Master of Puppets, a song you've known forever, and just reimagine a new vocal melody for it. It's fucking hard to do.
Well, dude, like speaking of that song, like I don't know if you ever heard the demo for that. It's like James singing it in his Kill 'Em All voice, like fucking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard it actually.
Dude, go on YouTube, man. Master Puppets. It's like a June '85 demo or something. If you type that in, it'll come up, and it's a demo with like vocals, dude. And James
sounds like that.
Singing. Dude, it sounds like Kill 'Em All James, dude. Like
damn.
Fucking high pitched and shit. And you're like, fuck, man. Imagine if that was the final thing.
Right. We're lucky his nuts dropped a little bit. You know? Someone's asking us what your favorite Megadeth song is.
Favorite?
It's hard to pick favorites, bro. Like I tell people this all the time. Like I could do like a top 5, maybe. Favorite is tough.
I don't have a favorite. I mean, I could do top 5 too, man. Like, I mean, Tornado of Souls. I mean, that's just the fucking riff in that song. All the riffs, the solo. In My Darkest Hour. Because that's one of the first Megadeth songs that I heard. So that's like, I saw the video for it, like, was the Decline of Western Civilization. And I remember seeing the video, and Dave, like, he's like singing into this condenser mic and smoking a cigarette and like blowing smoke into it. And I'm like, oh my God, the engineer is like, that fucking microphone is probably expensive. Like, he's gonna ruin that mic. And yeah, I mean, those two, fuck, man. Black Friday. I mean, there's a few.
I wish we lived or were good in the day where we still had like mega budgets for studio time.
Yeah.
Like we missed out on all of that, you know? Like
no more $1 million budgets for a record.
We missed out on all the fucking good shit about rock and roll.
I mean, we'd be lucky if we got like $10,000 or $15,000 to make a record.
We're peasants now. We're like, you know.
Yeah, man. No more $1 million budget for music videos. That's not a
rock
thing
and roll gods. There's no rock star anymore. Like it's all pop stars.
It's sad, man, because like, you know, Eddie Van Halen just passed away. It's like, well, who's gonna take the torch from Eddie? You know, like, I mean, we had Dimebag.
It's a shame because there's a lot of great guitar players out there.
Yeah, man.
But they're not rock gods.
Right.
Like, and there probably won't be one.
No. And that could be a good thing. I mean, you could look at it both ways. That could be a good thing because it kind of levels the playing field.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that's part of like rock and roll tradition, man. Is like the
Yeah.
larger than life guitar guy in the big arena band, but can fucking play his ass off.
But you're also thinking of it as a peer right now because we're peers now.
Yeah.
But you're not thinking about it as the kid who's fucking 13 and needs a guitar god.
Right. Dude, like for me growing up, man, it was, Dimebag, Zach Wild, Kirk Hammett. Like those guys are like larger than life, man.
Yep.
Dude, I remember like just I remember watching like all the Pantera home videos and like just, oh my God, like they're drinking so much and like there's naked girls, like they're smoking weed on stage. This is fucking amazing.
Yeah. I was saying to Joe the other day, I had him on here, like Eddie Van Halen was like one of the ones that I modeled my playing after, but Dimebag Darrell is who I fucking learned how to tour from. Like,
yeah, man, hell yeah. Like for me, Eddie wasn't really a direct influence. Like I was into Van Halen, but I wasn't like a huge fan. But he influenced Nuno.
I'm 42. I'm 42, so I'm like just that extra bit older. Where my mom was a rocker through and through, so she was blasting Van Halen when I was a little boy.
Yeah,
and she would tell me like, yo, yeah, when you were like 5 and 6 years old, you used to just go nuts, just bounce off the furniture, break shit. Fucking Van Halen was on, it was trouble. And like, so yeah, dude, it was like a big deal.
Like I said, I wasn't influenced directly by Eddie, but Zach Wild, Dimebag, Nuno, like those guys were. Sonic, those guys were hugely influenced by Eddie. So in some way, I was influenced by him too because my influences were influenced by him.
Especially Dime. Like if you take away his trash fucking rhythm tone, his lead tone was, and his playing was.
Well, and not only that too, but just the way that Pantera recorded. I mean, he would record live, no rhythm guitar, a lot of that stuff. It's just bass, drums, and lead guitar, just like Van Halen. So yeah, I mean, they definitely modeled themselves after that. They were like the super extreme metal version of Van Halen for sure.
Right. Who's like?
With you, though, his rhythm tone was trash.
His rhythm tone's trash. It always was, but I didn't care.
Yeah. No, but you know what, though? It was his sound. Like, you knew right away. Like, there was no other guitar player that sounded like that.
Yeah. No, absolutely agree. Fucking loved it. I loved it. I remember just, like, listening to Vulgar Display of Power as a little kid, just thinking I was the toughest kid around because no one else fucking was listening to that shit where I came from. Fucking. Yeah. So I was just like, you talking to me, punk? Let's go. I'm ready to fucking throw down with everyone right now.
Dude, my thing was, you remember Columbia House? You ordered like 12 CDs for like 10 cents.
Yep.
You never sent money in.
I was just talking about this the other day with somebody. We're talking about like piracy and shit like that. I'm like, dude, I was a pirate before that shit the internet was even around.
Dude, yeah. So one of the first CDs I ever got from there was fucking Official Live 101 Proof, man. I was like 13. That was the first Pantera CD that I got. And I memorized all of Phil's banter between songs. Like, I was just like, it was just to hear all the swearing and just like, it was the heavy. And it was at that point, like, I didn't know death metal, any of the extreme black metal, death metal. I didn't know what any of that was. So, like, Pantera was like, that was my introduction to like extreme metal. Because like that shit was just, that was I didn't think there could be anything heavier than that.
Right. Fucking, I remember when I was a kid, we used to have this thing. It was 1480 Z-Rock. It was on the AM dial. And you could faintly get it. Some nights it was awesome. Some nights it was just like too much static. But they played extreme metal all the fucking time. And that's how I found Cemetery Gates on there. And like, that was my introduction to Pantera. But Z-Rock was a big thing. And then obviously, we're lucky to have lived with WSOU in our lives this whole time.
Yeah, man.
Because they opened the floodgates for me on everything.
Dude, like that's how I got into Children of Bodom and Fear Factory and like Dimmu and like some of the black metal stuff, like Animal Corpse too. WSOU, man.
WSOU is a big reason why North Jersey was just popping with fucking great.
Yeah.
It was a good metal scene, a lot of hardcore fucking.
Dude, yeah. Hell yeah.
And if you go on the liner notes of these bands, SOU is always fucking thanked on there. You know what I mean?
I think we thanked them one of our albums like back in the day somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's a guitar guy that you look up to that's not like this virtuoso playing wise, like, but his songwriting, that you can appreciate the songwriting? Like, who's a guy that you look to for that?
Man, dude, that's a good question.
Because it's easy to just love like all the people who just shred it or whatever, but like there's an art to fucking writing a song, and I'll give you mine. It's Jerry Cantrell.
Dude, you know what, that actually crossed my mind too, because I was just watching. Not because that's your answer, but I would have to say Jerry Cantrell as well, because I was just watching, I don't know, Gibson TV. Gibson has their YouTube channel.
That fucking interview that was like an hour long or whatever.
I'll tell you what, man. Like, they did one with Tony Iommi. They got one coming out with Kirk Hammett. I watched the one with Jerry Cantrell, man. And after that, I went down this whole rabbit hole. I always liked Alice in Chains.
Right.
Like, to me, they weren't grunge, dude. They're more metal, but their songwriting is better than Nirvana, better than, like, they were better. Like, I think Soundgarden was maybe the only band that was maybe on that level. But I just think out of all the bands that came out of that scene, Alice in Chains was way better than everybody, just because their songwriting and their vocal harmonies is what set them apart.
Yep. Songwriting was just way deeper, you know?
Yeah.
It was definitely way deeper on a different level. And the harmonies, you're right, bro.
And the cool thing, like, you have, like, Dirt is one of those albums that you have to listen to with headphones.
Yeah.
Because there's so many, not just vocals, but there's so many guitar layers that you don't hear. Mm-hmm. Like, Jerry is a master of layering guitar, and I think he's got some of the best tones, like, in the history of rock. Yeah. Whether it's hard rock, metal, just the genre of rock and roll. Like, he has some of the best recorded guitar tones ever, I think.
On Dirt specifically, that tone right there.
Yeah, dude, them bones, man. That tone is so heavy, man. It's so good.
It's so heavy and so raw. It's not overproduced, you know, like.
Yeah. Even too, like, you listen to, like, the guitar solo on that song, like, he's doubling it, but it's not perfectly tight. It's like, it's cool. It's just, there's like a looseness to it. Like, it's perfect.
Yep.
It's perfect because it's not tight. It's a little sloppy.
Yeah, that's probably my go-to guy who's not this fucking virtuoso. Because it's songwriting is an art too, man. I think that guy's a songwriter through and through that happens to play guitar, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And, dude, you know, I know there's people who, like, you know, it's all Lane Staley, man. He's Alice in Chains. Like, dude, I saw them with William, and they were fucking amazing.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Like, no disrespect to Lane, but William Duvall, that dude, he's not only is he a great singer, he can play guitar, he's a great frontman. But Jerry is the band. It's, you know.
Yeah, the sound hasn't changed. In fact, when whatever, you know, after Lane Staley died, you know, Degradation Trip 1 and 2, like, you could just see right away, like, you know, absolutely, this is Alice in Chains. It's just Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, man, absolutely, hell yeah.
Yeah. Fucking who would you say is the top 3 influencers for your playing?
Definitely Randy Rhoads,
right.
Like I mentioned. You know, the thing, like, I love Dimebag, but I don't sound like him at all.
Right.
There's really nobody that does sound like him. You know, he's a huge influence, but more so in, like, attitude. You know, like, when you hear my playing, you don't instantly think of Dimebag. You know, like, definitely Randy Rhoads, Malmsteen, and I would say John Schaefer from Iced Earth. Like, just, like, his fucking rhythm, his right hand is, like, he took, like, what Hetfield and Mustaine were doing and just, like, took it to a whole other level of, like, just speed and accuracy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy, actually.
So, like, a lot of, like, when you listen to some Etherius, man, you hear a lot of those galloping riffs, man. That's where it comes from. Iced Earth, man.
Yeah. You know who became like that too is, like, Keith Merrow is.
Yeah.
He's so fucking tight and comes up with, like, new and interesting, like, they're rhythms, but they're moves. You know, like he'll play these cool rhythms, but he throws in some, like, interesting chord voicings too. Yeah.
because he's playing in drop A, so he does he'll do like a minor chord but like a wider stretch, kind of thing, and it creates this cool texture because it's not just like power chords all the time. And then I have to Dino, man, Dino Cazares, dude, like D Manufacturer,
Yep.
like that's like some of those riffs are just not that they're hard to play, but like to play them tight, yeah, they're hard to play like tight.
Yeah, Joe always says, and he's right, because like I was Demanufacturers where I jumped off the Fear Factory bandwagon. Like that record, I love that record, but after that, I kind of just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about all the German metal. Like Fear Factory is like a main influence in everything that came out in like German, like
totally, man.
Metalcore or whatever. Like it is Fear Factory. Like
yep.
So yeah, they directly influence a ton of bands like Caliban, fucking, so many, man. Just everything I would listen to at a certain point was direct result of Fear Factory.
Yeah. And another, Meshuggah, like I got into Meshuggah recently.
Yeah.
I was never like a huge fan because to me it was like I like music with some melody to it, and it was like Meshuggah was just like heavy. It just sounded like Heavy Machines. There was like no melody to it.
Right.
But just going back and like listening to like Destroy, Erase, Improve and like Obscene and Catch 33, like those records are fucking awesome, and like I'm starting to appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
But like
I was the same way with them because when I first listened to it when I was a kid, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And now I can go back and appreciate it. One thing that absolutely changed my life was the introduction of At the Gates.
Dude, that was for me. It was Children of Bodom and Death. Like Symbolic, hearing Symbolic, and like those like Human, Symbolic, or Human, what was the album after that? Individual Thought Patterns and Symbolic. Those three records are like, fuck, this is amazing. Like that, those were like life-changing, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of those in my life, but Slaughter of the Souls is definitely one of those. I'm like, what the fuck is... It was just so huge sound. Those guitars would come in, and I'm like, what is happening? This is amazing.
That's like Carcass, man. Heartwork.
Yeah, same. Heartwork, Heartwork is right around the same time period where Slaughters of the Souls.
And then like a year later, Jester Race. Like In Flames, like Jester Race. That's my favorite In Flames album. I adore that album. So good.
That's awesome. That's funny. Yeah. Well, fucking A, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And, like, it's cool to fucking know that, like, we're kind of doing the same things just in a different place. Like...
We come from the same state, but, we're in different parts of the country now, but whatever, man.
Yep. It's cool. Yeah, it's just cool, like, we're kind of doing the same things at the show. Probably at the same shows. We just didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Like, we come from, like, similar influences. We came up from the same scene, and I feel like our careers have kind of taken like a parallel route. In a way.
A takeoff. I'm always proud when someone else is also doing something cool from like our hood. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a hard industry to break in.
Dude, absolutely, yeah. Hell
yeah. Especially when someone else can find success like that and fucking and take it out. Like you have, fucking, I'm all about it. I love it.
And I'm like, and like, I'm not even like anywhere.
I think I lost him.
Oh.
You're back.
Back. And we're back. Like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm a nobody, like I'm at the fucking bottom of the totem pole. But at the same time, it's like I've been able to get somewhere. So I'm gonna keep doing it, man. That's
how I feel. Like, I'm nobody, but at least I can do it. I've done it for a living, and I'd fucking
like all my friends that I've played with over the years. They've all like gotten married and had kids, and they either gave it up completely or they just do it just as fun. Just like weekend warrior. They fuck around with it once in a while. Yeah. And a lot of them are like, dude, it's so cool that like you're still at it. You're still doing it seriously, and you've been doing it. I've been doing it, since high school.
And what's important is like everyone has their own goals that the goals that I've set. Like I meet them, then set new goals, right?
Yeah.
But I've been able to reach a lot of these fucking goals now, and it's pretty fucking cool. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's the same for you.
it just, for me, it started out, it's like, all right, I want to get good at guitar. You get to a
Right.
certain level, and it's like you still want to get better, but then it's like, all right, now I want to play with a band.
Yep.
All right, now I'm playing with a band. It's like, all right, we got to write a song now. You write a song. It's like, all right, we got to write another song.
Now we got to write a good song.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, now we got to write more songs. All right, now we got to make a demo. All right, we made a 3-song demo. All right, we got to make an album now. You make an album. You know, at one point, I just wanted to put out an album. That was my goal, and I was like, if I never put out anything else ever again, I'll be fine. I did an album. I got to say I did it. Now here we are. I've done, I don't know how many albums since.
Right.
So it's like you just keep raising the bar little by little.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way to go, man. Set goals, fucking knock them out, make new ones. Someone's asking you if you're into Nevermore.
I think we mentioned that before, dude. I fucking love Nevermore.
Yeah.
Fucking Dead Heart and Dead World is one of the greatest albums ever made, and that guitar tone, I love that guitar tone. That's like one of the greatest guitar tones ever too in metal. What's
your tone now? What are you going through?
So live, on the records we used like I said, we've been reamping. So we used the 5153 for the rhythms.
Right.
And then the leads were like a combination. Actually, like the first EP, the lead tone was just all Axe effects. This album, I think we used the 5153 for all the rhythm, and we used the 5153, but it was like a Kemper profile of a 5153.
Right.
Whatever. It sounds exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
Live, I have the Fractal. I plug that into a Carbon solid state power amp into a Mesa 412 cab.
Yeah.
And my rhythm tone is based on, I think it's based on a Diesel. I have a couple different tones.
Yeah.
So live, and then sometimes there's a couple tours where I ran the Mesa Mark V, and I would run the Fractal with the 4-cable method. So I would run the Mesa as my tone. I would use the Fractal for effects, and then I'd have like a fucking pedal board of I'd be tap dancing, trying to switch patches and effects. And
I was doing that for a long time when I had the 5153, and running the 4-cable method, and I was, doing the whole MIDI thing just like that. But these days it's just straight Axe effects into a fucking power amp.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Dude, I set my shit up in 5 minutes. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to fucking rock.
If something's not working,
amazing.
I troubleshoot it pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's
so amazing. I nerd out in my room sometimes, like getting sounds like from either the Axe Change or just like me making them myself. But like, I'll get like the stems of drums for certain records, and I'll be playing that tone and just nerd out that I'm playing with that exact album tone.
Right.
I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Couldn't imagine doing that when I was, just.
Dude, I know. When we were kids, it's like, fuck, imagine like you can just get put off of any record now.
Do you remember trying to fucking find rig rundowns of like your favorite guys? It was impossible.
I remember Guitar World used to do the last page of Guitar World. Every issue would be a rig rundown. Every month it would be somebody different. And I remember looking at, I think, Steve Vai's rig, and it was just like a fucking obstacle course.
Right.
It was just like, pedal board. He had he was running like 3 amps in stereo. Actually, I think the craziest one I saw was Petrucci.
Yeah.
Back in the day when Petrucci was running the tri-axis and the 2C plus, and he had the Bob Bradshaw refrigerator sized racks, and just he had like the Lexicon MP1 like harmonizer delay, like all this shit. And it was just trying to figure out how to where everything went. It was like you needed like a fucking PhD to figure all that shit out.
Yeah, you need to be a fucking engineer to know any of that.
Right. Yeah.
I used to love the guy on YouTube who would, mimic. Well, this is the sound of death. This button makes it the temperature rise 8,000 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
No one can stand this.
This button controls the temperature of the sun.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would need that, but.
Actually, it's funny when I saw Dream Theater, like I saw them like 6 years ago, and they during intermission they would play like kids like YouTube covers. Like there'd be different people, they would play the cover songs on YouTube. Like somebody would cover like Pull Me Under or whatever, and they would play it on YouTube, and then they would play all those John Petrucci parodies. So I think it's cool that he's like in on the joke and like he gets it.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it. It's awesome.
Somebody did that for Malmsteen and he had it taken down.
He had it taken down?
Yeah, it's not up there anymore.
I remember the one Petrucci parody that like they had his guitar tech as Malmsteen.
Right.
And he had the cheesecake cookbook or whatever. I guess that guy didn't like Malmsteen. That's funny. Fucking A, man. Well, so before we go, fucking I know everything's put off, but are there temporary plans that you guys have already started making, or is this just like on the halt indefinitely?
It is on the halt indefinitely. Until we hear back from the booking agents about when the tour's gonna be rescheduled, it's just kind of up in the air at this point.
Right. Fucking crazy.
Yeah. I'm like ready to just like fucking book my own tour.
Right. Yeah. Virtual tours. That's the way it is now, huh?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's doing virtual tours.
I've toyed with the idea of doing. I mean, bands are doing that now, live streaming and stuff. I do sometimes like Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Like I'll be writing or I'll be practicing, and I'll just like do like a live video. Just people tune in, and like 5 people tune in.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I know it's cool. It's just not the same.
It's not the same. No, and even to like just. I know, like in Europe, they did like drive-in concerts.
The drive-in concerts, yeah. I saw someone recorded a Rammstein drive-in concert. Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't like it, man. Like
we're in this dystopian era of
it's bizarre
weirdness.
Yeah, I just want to go to a show and just like jump in the pit and just fucking get sweaty.
Right.
Scream the lyrics as loud as I can.
I hope they figure out that heavy metal kills COVID. Like the second a fucking guitar hits the E,
right?
Like it dies.
You must have this much gain,
right?
Yeah.
Right, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured out that if you own a 5153, if you go beyond 6 of the gain stage on the red channel, it will kill coronavirus.
The warmth generated by the 6L6 power tubes will kill all germs.
If you remember, I had that monster, the fucking crate, the Blue Voodoo 300 watt.
Oh my god! I remember that.
That probably killed coronavirus. I bet you that. Had 12 preamp tubes in that fucker.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It was a monster. It had like the heavy duty handles on the side.
I remember. Yeah, it had the handles on the side too. If I remember. Yeah.
Needed everyone to lift it. It was heavier than the fucking cabs.
Yeah.
Retarded. Someone's saying that Gwar did a drive-in concert. That's got to be awful for your car.
Fucking
imagine them just spraying fake blood all over your car.
Oh man, especially you got a white car, man. That shit ain't never coming off.
Right. Like if that for a Gwar concert like that, they would need like that mobile car wash for everyone driving out of the concert.
Wrap your car in plastic or something.
Right. Fucking A. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on with us, shooting the shit with us.
Dude, this is cool, man. It's been fucking 2 hours already, man.
Yeah, it flies. Like
it does, yeah.
It flies. I don't know how to do a short podcast. Which is crazy because when I say this all the time, when I talk to people on the phone, it's just like, all right, I need this done. Can you do this for me? All right, peace.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a conversationalist over the phone. So for me to fucking be like this is just completely out of my character.
I think it's just when you're talking about something that you're so passionate about with someone else who's equally as passionate, like it just makes it so much easier.
That is true. They were they said they were spraying the fake blood on the cars. I wouldn't fucking go. I wouldn't fucking go get my car. I would at least not go close to get my car sprayed.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But even that, the power is just not there.
Nah.
You know?
Like, I couldn't imagine seeing, like, a band like Slayer.
If you're gonna do that, you should at least get a field full of bumper cars where you could make fucking moshing.
That would be fucking sweet. Although, you know what, though? I will say, I thought Metallica, what they did was cool. Where they did they streamed the drive-in concert. They pre-recorded them playing a live show, and then they showed it in drive-in theaters across the country.
Oh, really?
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was like, I want to say like a month ago.
Right.
Maybe a little bit longer than that.
I think someone was saying they also did that thing where I guess they have, you could have it on Bluetooth or whatever. You could put it so it goes right through into your car.
I think, yeah. I think you can do that in like certain driving theaters. That's pretty cool. I mean, but still, it's creative. It's a creative way to work around a problem. But for me, man, it's just, dude, like, I just want to go to the concert. I want to be in front of the stage, like, crammed in with other people, sweat my ass off, screaming the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing Slayer. Actually, I think at Roseland Ballroom. It was either Roseland Ballroom or the Electric Factory. It was Slayer, Arch Enemy, and Soulfly. And I mean, I was like this the whole show. I couldn't move. Yep. And like everybody's going this way, and you gotta go. Like, and we're going this way, and then we're going forward. Like, I think I lost the shoe. Like, my friend that was next to me, like, ended up like on the other side of the venue. Like, it was crazy. But like that, like the experience of that though is just like, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, man. It makes me afraid because we're losing venues. You know, a lot of the businesses we're losing it. My friend owns a VIP business. He's afraid.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, businesses everywhere that have to do with the music industry, they're all in fucking trouble. Because a lot of them are not major, you know, corporations. They're just bigger, smaller business, right?
Like, a lot of those venues, too, I mean, they make their money on alcohol, and, you know, that's a big thing. And, you know, and even
fucking scary.
Yeah, I mean, even like Live Nation. Well, I mean, fuck Live Nation, but even Live Nation, I mean, they're not immune from it either. So
yeah, it's a scary time. To look forward is scary.
But the way I think musicians, you know, we're all creative people. I think we'll find the ones that really want it, that like really want to do well. They'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
So, and then the people that are just not really into it, or they're just doing it for status or whatever, like, eventually they won't want to put the work in, and they'll just kind of die off and just give it up. But the real people, the lifers, like you and I, like, we'll figure out how to
figure it out,
get through it. I mean, we've gotten through it this far, so.
Yeah, it's just like they say, in chaos, there's opportunity also.
Yeah.
So you just have to navigate through the opportunities from the chaos, you know, like, got to remain calm, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, dude, fucking awesome talking to you. Guys out there, thank you for joining us on the podcast. Thank you for being active on the comments. I appreciate you. I will see you on Friday with my friend Ray. He just released an album. It's fucking super, like, power metal, like nerd game core power metal. It's fucking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and he just released a video 2 days ago, yesterday. I don't know, but yeah, I'll talk with Ray